The horse is out of the bag. They want to remake Skyrim, and so they'll start with Oblivion first to make it more subtle, but then in a few years, make no mistake, you'll see Todd Howard at the Xbox showcase or whatever event it is, talking about Skyrim and how now we can finally experience it on modern platforms. This is their plan.
What do I do, Lord?
Destroy the child. Corrupt them all.
This is their plan, people. These are demons.
So we've all heard the news. The Oblivion Remaster or Remake is kind of in this weird category where it's right in between those classifications, but I'll call it the Remaster since that's the official title. But we've seen the screenshots, and now it's basically official that the Remaster is happening. And this whole thing is very uncharacteristic from Bethesda. They agreed to let another studio, Virtuos in this case, have the rights to one of their most prized games and remaster it in Unreal out of all engines. And given Bethesda's pretty bad track record recently, does this seem like a step in the right direction, and what does this indicate for the future? That's really what I want to tackle in this video and speculate around the future of the company. The first thing I will say is that this is bittersweet because we already had Skyblivion in the works, and now the spotlight is going to go away from probably the most ambitious modding project of the decade. And part of me really wishes that Virtuos went with Morrowind because that's the game that needs it the most. But I can understand why they chose Oblivion because they want a game that doesn't need massive renovations to be modern. Sure, Oblivion is 19 years old, and I feel the Unk status too, but it has voice actors and a map, quest markers and a combat system that just need a few touch-ups to feel like Skyrim or other more modern games. Morrowind, on the other hand, would need a complete overhaul to embrace modern gamers. You would need voice actors, a new HUD, and a map system, new looting, and you would have to implement fast travel because that's unfortunately a necessity in these modern games. Those things don't seem particularly difficult for a large studio, but I can understand that it's a lot more labor than Oblivion. And Oblivion will probably sell more anyway. From the images we're seeing though, I'm quite happy with the product. Yes, it's very brown in some pictures, but let's just hope that boils down to the time of day and not a fault in the art design itself. In worst case, if it's truly lacking in color, a mod will come along that will fix that anyway. But okay, now let's get to what this signifies. Bethesda finally seems open to embracing other studios, handling some of their properties. And this is much different from what they've said in the past. In 2018, Todd Howard went on record and said that he doesn't want to remaster games like Morrowind, Fallout 1 or 2, because the age is part of the identity. Now you may think he's a hypocrite because he's remastered Skyrim, but the argument Todd uses there is that it was already close enough to modern consoles that a remaster was not changing the identity, since it was, quote unquote, already pretty visually close. He did not mention Oblivion in this interview, so this could be a rare instance where Todd actually told the truth.
Karim, my friend, you speak the truth.
I do what I can.
But with this recent news, I'm curious if his mindset changed. And if you've been paying attention to the industry over the past 5 years, remasters and remakes have gotten a lot more popular. I made a video over the age of remakes, which none of you watched, so check that out if you want a further breakdown on why remakes are getting more popular and whether this is a good thing. But with this increased demand and the shift in the industry, I'm curious if Todd's opinion has changed, especially since this interview where he's against this idea was from 2018. What do you guys make of this, and do you think that with the Microsoft acquisition, the corporate overlords may push for more remasters or remakes if Oblivion does well? Please let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I would love to see a Morrowind remake, and Bethesda could open this up to another studio like they did with Virtuos and Oblivion, and these games are old enough where a remake is definitely warranted. I could see this opening up a new avenue where games like Fallout 3 and especially New Vegas end up undergoing overhauls and new versions come out. And while this may seem like cash grabs, I think it's deserved for a lot of these games. And I would rather see them release an old masterpiece with updated gameplay and graphics rather than botch new things like they have done with Starfield. I'm also happy they are using a different engine, since Unreal is leagues ahead of the Creation engine. but this is probably only going to be an exception for remasters/remakes, because they are definitely going to keep Elder Scrolls 6 on the creation engine, since that's Bethesda's thing. And inevitably it'll be 2027 and we'll get the Skyrim remake, which I'm super hyped for. Hopefully that rage baited a few of you to comment and got the engagement for this video going, but in all seriousness, for Skyrim, we've played it enough and it's still decently modern, but for those other games like Morrowind and even New Vegas, I would love to see Bethesda allowing other studios to give them a facelift and to let a new generation experience those titles. And who knows, if they're willing to embrace other studios handling their properties, then we may finally get another Obsidian Fallout game. But let's be honest, that's definitely not happening. I'm very interested to see the degrees of changes in the Oblivion remake, since they mentioned a new combat system inspired by Dark Souls, but we'll have to see what they make of it. The soundtrack is another huge area of discussion, since there have been scandals around Jeremy Soule for allegedly doing soulless behavior. But look, separating the art from the artist, I think Oblivion's OST is probably the best in the entire franchise, and I would like if they keep it. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. I'm also curious if they'll have more voice actors, since the base game only had something like 20 voice actors, whereas Skyrim's is over 70. So there's a lot of room for quality updates in these games, and that's what I hope to see. But going over past remasters from Virtuos, like Final Fantasy X or the Arkham games, this Oblivion project is probably more of a facelift, rather than a full reconstruction. It is a remaster and not a remake after all. They're just implementing a new engine to layer over the original, but we will see. The main thing though is whether or not this is a cash grab. Bethesda has a reputation for doing cash grabs, I don't need to bring it up, but everyone can sense it. By the way, this picture is from the upcoming magnum opus of this channel, which I'm planning on titling Saving Elder Scrolls 6, and I'll cover the 7 deadly sins of Bethesda and how they can be redeemed.
Oh, that's easy.
Do not redeem! Do not redeem the card!
What?
So please keep an eye out for that video. I'm working super hard on it and I think it'll genuinely be the best video on this channel, and the thumbnail is going to be diabolical. So hopefully this channel stays up. But is this remaster a cash grab? Look, there was already Skyblivion in the works, and this seems like a stunt that allows Virtuos to show off its capabilities of remastering old games with the Unreal Engine. And despite the reappearance of horse armor, we're all pretty excited for this remaster, and this is also a great chance for console players to get to experience the Oblivion remaster, because something like Skyblivion is going to stay on PCs. So I wouldn't say this is a cash grab, but I will let you be the judge. Please let me know what you guys think about this remaster, and whether you think Bethesda will let some of its other titles undergo a similar treatment. Sorry if I sound weird, I'm sick, but thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.